The gaming world is no stranger to shifting trends. From first-person or third-person shooters, such as Battle Royale, to MMOs, players often migrate en masse when a game offers something fresh, something deeper, or more aligned with their preferences. Player communities are a fickle bunch. Recently, however, Elite Dangerous has seen a huge surge in player numbers, and what's particularly intriguing is that many of these new commanders are coming from other popular game franchises. So why are players leaving other titles to explore the vast reaches of the Elite Dangerous and Elite Dangerous Odyssey galaxy? Hello Commanders, it's Ricardo and welcome back to a little bit of thought leadership, I suppose, really, or thought meandering around. Let's not call it leadership. But why are players leaving other games and then jumping on the Elite Dangerous bandwagon? Well, for me, I think the reasons could well be multifaceted, encompassing some sort of level of disillusionment with some of the mainstream games that have promised so much. AAA titles these days are never really AAA. There's always a host of bug fixes that follow them either shortly after or well into the future of the game. There's also that appeal of space exploration, and Frontier Developments' ongoing efforts to evolve their galaxy-spanning title Elite Dangerous certainly ticks that box. So let's take a look. So there's the Burnout Factor. Why are players getting tired of these AAA mainstream games that come, have a very short shelf life, and then disappear into memory? Well, over the last decade, the gaming industry, I believe, has seen an explosion in live service games. Those games like Destiny 2, Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, to name but a few. These titles rely heavily on seasonal updates, battle passes, fear of missing out, game dynamics and marketing to keep players engaged. You've got to have the latest DLC, you've got to have the latest thing. And while this model has proven profitable, it's also left many players with a bitter taste in their mouth, feeling fatigued, burnt out and tired in titles that promise so much but rarely deliver anything completely different. Take Destiny 2 for example. This is Bungie's flagship title and has been praised for its tight gunplay, raid content, but recent criticism has focused on its repetitive grind and monetization practices. A growing number of players feel that the game's seasonal structure offers little innovation, instead relying on recycled content and artificial time sinks. Reddit threads, for example, Destiny the game, are filled with posts from disillusioned players. And these are players who are expressing their desire for something more rewarding and less demanding. Casting our beady eyes now towards Fortnite. Oh, how my kids completely rinsed that game during lockdown. Children of all ages getting involved. Typically some of the younger kids as well. Everyone being pestered for V-Bucks and all of that. Parents lamenting the sound of the words, "Can I have some V-Bucks, Dad? Can I have some V-Bucks, Mum?" Well, Fortnite was once that poster child for battle royales and has seen player fatigue due to its frenetic pace and constant meta shifts. Epic Games, their introduction of non-stop collaborations with mainstream IPs from Star Wars to Marvel has left some players feeling the game has lost a little bit of its identity. For players burnt out by these experiences, one could say that Elite Dangerous does indeed offer a refreshing alternative. It's been a mainstay staple in its current iteration for 10 years, but for the Elite franchise, for now going on over 40, and hopefully for at least 10 more. Unlike the pressure cooker environment of other live service games, Elite allows players to progress at their own pace. There's no battle pass ticking down, there's no limited time content forcing you to log in every day. Well, unless at Christmas and you want to get the free arcs, and that didn't really happen this year because Power Play 2 happened, and also there was the defeat of the final Thargoid Titan, Kojio. Anyway, lots was happening. Anyway, it's not forcing you to log in every day. Instead, the game provides that sandbox arena, where the only deadlines are the ones you can really set yourself. Now, many games these days do follow a theme park design philosophy, where their content is very tightly curated and player actions are funneled down predetermined paths. While this can make for a polished experience, it often leaves little room for creativity on the player side, or even player-driven stories. For example, World of Warcraft is a great example of this. Blizzard's MMORPG has perfected the theme park model with quests, dungeons and raids designed to guide players through a carefully constructed narrative. But, however, for players seeking freedom and a little bit of agency, shall we say, this structure can really feel limiting. And limiting is not good. By contrast, however, Elite Dangerous operates more like a sandbox. Players aren't guided from point A to point B with quest markers or level caps. Instead, they're handed the keys to a spaceship and said, "Right then, Commander, get on with it and don't hang about." And that's got an appeal. Go and explore, the galaxy is yours. This open-ended design does indeed foster a sense of wonder and discovery that many modern games struggle to replicate. The appeal of Elite Dangerous is perhaps best illustrated by the rise of exploration-focused players. Groups like the Distant Worlds Expedition, which organise massive player-led exploration missions, showcase how Elite empowers its community to create their own adventures. It's no surprise that players disillusioned by overly structured games are finding solace in the freedom of Elite's one-to-one scale Milky Way. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the efforts of the AXI during the recent Thargoid War and the incursions into HIP 22460, forcing those Thargoids out. Well done, AXI. Well done. You should be applauded for your efforts, along with all the rest of the player community who joined in and followed them. Not only that, Power Play version 2 has been a rally call to arms for bringing new commanders into the game who have perhaps say moved away from other titles like Star Citizen, for example, and given them something to do on a weekly basis. I've said this before in many videos, I think this is a catalyst for the return of players to the Elite Dangerous galaxy. Now, for fans of space games, open world games, there's a renaissance going on for the space game genre, I believe. The broader gaming landscape is also seeing this resurgence of space-themed titles. Games like Star Citizen, despite its development problems and long development path, as well as No Man's Sky, the Kerbal Space Program 2, which looks like it's leaving Steam, who knows what's going on there, have reignited players' fascination with space exploration and simulation games. However, these games each come with their own drawbacks that often drive players towards Elite Dangerous and its more structured version of let the player go out and do their own thing content. Star Citizen, for example, has become infamous for its prolonged development cycle and lack of a finished product. It's very pretty game, although it does have very stringent hardware requirements on what's actually gonna run it. While its ambition is undeniable, many players are unwilling to invest in a game that feels perpetually incomplete, with multiple resets, losing your progression. They just want to get on with it. Elite Dangerous, by contrast, offers a fully realised galaxy, decades of development history, making it a safer bet perhaps for players who want their space exploration fix. Similarly speaking, while No Man's Sky has undergone a remarkable redemption arc since its rocky launch way back when, its gameplay leans heavily towards the resource gathering and crafting aspect of the game, despite other implementations such as sea bases, base building, etc, etc. For players seeking a more simulation-oriented experience, Elite Dangerous's highly detailed flight mechanics and economic systems provide a level of depth that, in my opinion, No Man's Sky can't quite match. The success of TV shows like The Expanse and real-world developments, you could say, in space exploration such as SpaceX's Mars ambitions have only amplified, I think, players' desire for games that let them chart the stars, and Elite Dangerous indeed does stand out as some of the most comprehensive gameplay and immersive space sims available. Now let's talk about Frontier developments. You all know I'm an Elite Dangerous fanboy, and this might sound a little bit one-sided, but one of the most significant factors driving players to Elite Dangerous is the game's ongoing evolution. A little bit like No Man's Sky, they've learnt an awful lot of lessons. Frontier Developments has faced its share of criticism, particularly with the rocky launch of Odyssey expansion, but also the studio's commitment to improving the game has not gone unnoticed. The Odyssey expansion, which was introduced with on-foot exploration, was initially plagued by performance issues and bugs. Some say some bugs still remain, but it's not the game it was several years ago on launch. However, Frontier's updates have since stabilised the experience, one could say, and the ability to explore planets on foot has added a new dimension to the game. For players coming from titles like Starfield, which promised planetary exploration but delivered highly curated, isolated experiences, Elite Dangerous Odyssey feels far more immersive, although it still needs a bit of work. Additionally, recent updates like fleet carrier interiors, ongoing improvements to the Thargoid War storyline, which cumulated, one could say, at least for now, at the end of 2024, have injected new life into the game. Fleet carriers allow players to walk around and somewhat, in some cases, personalise interiors. Well, you can have that shop here, that shop there. There's a long way to go there, I believe, and it could be made a hell of a lot better. Meanwhile, the Thargoid War dynamic did give that idea of player influence conflict, added high stakes and tension to the galaxy, drawing players in to contribute to the narrative, destroy the Thargoid, have watch parties as the Titans hit the big one. Now, Powerplay version 2, this overhaul of the old Powerplay version 1 system has indeed impacted the game meaningfully and brought more people in. It's also addressed the pointless nature of Powerplay version 1, where you just minced around for the best part of 4 weeks, waiting, delivering spurious information to get the module, you'd fill your stocks up and then move on to the next power. Now you're invested in your power. You really are. For players coming from games like EVE Online, where politics and player agency are central, these changes make Elite Dangerous increasingly attractive. At the heart of Elite Dangerous and its appeal is its community. The game's player base is one of the most dedicated and creative in the industry, organising everything from large-scale expeditions to in-game charities and all-out counter-offences. For example, the Fuel Rats, a player group dedicated to rescuing stranded commanders, we've all been there everyone, exemplify the kind of emergent gameplay like Elite fosters. Their exploits have become legendary, even attracting players from other games who are curious about the cooperative dynamics of Elite Dangerous. The community's influence extends beyond the game itself, with content creators on platforms like YouTube and Twitch have played significant roles in driving interest to Elite. That helps to lessen the game's learning curve. Meanwhile, Twitch streamers showcase epic battles and exploration missions, inspiring people to dive into the galaxy for themselves. But one of the defining characteristics of Elite Dangerous is its deliberate pacing. Unlike the instant gratification of many modern games, Elite requires patience, planning, perseverance. Now that might put off an awful lot of people. However, whether you're plotting a 1,000 light-year journey to explore uncharted systems or grinding for new materials to upgrade your ship, your suits and your weapons, the game rewards players who invest time and effort, I believe. This slower, more meditative experience is a stark contrast to the adrenaline-fueled gameplay and instant gratification titles like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, for example. Players seeking to escape from the constant noise and chaos of competitive gaming, Elite Dangerous offers a welcome space and also a welcome reprieve. Now, Elite Dangerous taps into something primal, humanity's desire to explore the unknown, as real-world space exploration continues to make headlines, from the James Webb Telescope's discoveries to SpaceX's Mars ambitions, Pathfinders, Mars lunar landers, all that sort of stuff. Players are increasingly drawn to games that let them live out those dreams and experiences. Elite Dangerous captures the wonder and the vastness of space better than any other game, in my opinion, with its recreation of the galaxy, its fantastic community, multiple ships you can fly, the ability to land on planets. It really is not only a technical achievement, but a reminder of the infinite possibilities that could await us, both in-game and in real life. But in the gaming landscape dominated by those live service fatigue, those play-to-win and monetization controversies, those over-curated experiences, Elite Dangerous, I think, stands out as a beacon of possibility and freedom. It's a game that dares to be vast, challenging, patient, a space where players can create their own stories rather than follow anybody else's script, and system colonization is certainly going to help with that. For those leaving other games in search of something deeper and richer and more rewarding, the galaxy of Elite Dangerous can await you, and with Frontier development showing no signs of slowing down, perhaps the best days of this game still might be ahead. You let me know in the comments if you're still with me. I've been Ricardo, and thanks very much for indulging me in this video on why players could be moving from other games to Elite Dangerous. I'll see you soon.